philanthropist, activist, intellectual, teacher, and of course, one damn good actor. You're watching the Rizpod.
That's how you feel, boo? Damn, that's how I feel too. Now put one in the air and sit down in a chair. We about to break it down on the real. Yeah, she close her eyes tight and take a look. I keep her mind like her favorite book. It's open wide when I'm high. She my favorite cook. She make my favorite meal. I steal her heart, I'm her favorite crook. It ain't the money I make, it's how I make her feel. Cause I don't make no money. She said let's make a deal. I give you whatever you need till you make it big. Cause she think I will. Then she passed the key.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. You're watching the Rizpod. Levar Burton is an anomaly. He is a man that has managed to navigate the unforgiving terrain of Hollywood in a way that has not only left him unblemished, but more importantly, in a way that has brought nobility and honor to the profession. Moreover, his career has changed the world forever in a positive way. At some point, every actor has to answer one vital question. Why? Why am I doing this? What is the purpose of my act? And no one can answer this question for you, but your answer, whatever it may be, will determine your destiny as an actor. Well, Levar Burton, the subject of today's Rizpod, has answered this question while simultaneously answering the call of humanity and fulfilling the responsibility of every man in a civilized society, which is to use your skills to enhance the world in which you live in, and also to pass on knowledge and information to the youth so that they may better the world that they will eventually inherit from us. His career is well documented, as he is one of the most recognizable human beings on the planet. And no matter how many words or compliments I say about him and his incredible career, it still wouldn't be enough to fully describe the importance, influence, and impact his life and work has had on all of us. But luckily, you don't have to take my word for it. Rizeners and Rizenettes, in the first edition of an ongoing series here at the Rizpod, I present to you Levar Burton in his own words.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look. Trying to do is get to that child when they're making a decision to be a reader for life or not. And I believe that the most powerful entity in creation is a lifelong learner. If you are literate in at least one language, nobody can pull the wool over your eyes. You have an opportunity to learn at your own speed all of the wonders that exist out there in the world.
In my mind, there is no better use of the medium than to enrich and enlighten. And I've really, I've tried throughout the course of my career. You know, we're here, you know, it's about entertainment. And whenever you can bring something more to the table, it's all good, right?
I love literature. Reading Rainbow has always been famous for really instilling a love of the written word in children, as opposed to teaching them how to read. And today, if you want to reach kids, you have to be on a mobile device. Television was the technology that we used back in the 80s to reach kids and connect them to literature, but today, television is only one screen that children use in the course of any given day.
And so, it made perfect sense to me a few years later when I was approached by some wonderful people, a woman named Twyla Liggett, who was a teacher working in public television. And the idea was to use the medium of television to steer children back in the direction of literature and the written word. Now, I was like, are you serious? Let me get this straight. You want to take television and get kids hooked on books? She said, yeah, essentially, that's the goal. I was like, you're either incredibly brilliant or very crazy. And as it turns out, she was a little bit of both.
Is it a money thing?
I think we spent a little bit too much of our resources on fighting.
Yeah.
Not enough left in the coffers for education and inspiration.
Now, you have a huge background with Reading Rainbow and being involved in education. Education is clearly something. Butterfly in the sky. I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book.
My favorite Reading Rainbow episode of all is Amazing Grace. Because I love what the story says. It's about a young black girl who wants to try out for Peter Pan in her school play, and she's told by her schoolmates that first she can't be Peter Pan because she's a girl, number one, and she's black, number two. It's the same story that I was told by Alex Siegel when I got to USC. You can only try out for the butlers in our plays. And Grace goes home and she shares this with her mother and her grandmother, and they tell her, like my mother told me, that you can do anything you want. My mother told me there are no limits on you, save the ones that you impose upon yourself. Now, she did everything she could to make sure I could play on the playing field, that I had, commensurate abilities and skills. But it had to come from me, and that's what Grace's mother and grandmother tell her. You can be anything you want if you put your mind to it. It's launching now.
We're going on it right now. Wow. Look at the smile on DJ Wonder's face, man. He just went to Willy Wonka reading Rainbow Appleland right there.
And that's the great thing, because there's a whole generation of people who grew up on the show.
Yeah.
And for them, this is like a sweet spot of their childhood. It does. Reading Rainbow, it's like that nostalgic hit. It just like takes you back to a good place.
Yeah.
When you were a kid.
And
Over the 25 plus years we were in production, I learned how to fly a plane. I learned how to scuba dive for Reading Rainbow. We went hot air ballooning. I had some fantastic adventures myself. And I feel that being the host of Reading Rainbow is the best gig I've ever had.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Videos, right? Reading Rainbow was always about the video field trip, taking you on a backstage tour of real-world experience that was tied to the literature, right, that was featured in the episode.
There's a shower in here. Where? Oh boy, the shower's in the toilet. That's amazing.
Look, my mother taught me to not go for the okie doke, okay? I said in every episode of Reading Rainbow, but you don't have to take my word for it. Which means pick up a damn book. If you can read in at least one language, you are free, in my estimation. You are literally free. No one can pull the wool over your eyes. No one can tell you that the sky is black and the sun is blue, because you can figure it out for yourself, because you have the gift of literacy. An illiterate populace is a gullible populace.
Thank you.
Goodnight Moon by Margaret Wise Brown, pictures by Clement Hurd. In the great green room, there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of the cow jumping over the moon. And there were 3 little bears sitting on chairs.